You guys knew there were going to be Jamal Adams questions on this Seahawks Rumors mailbag. From Daniel, one of several, and we didn't bring all of them on. How likely is it that Seattle trades for Jamal Adams? I'm telling you guys there's a chance here. First off, Seattle is on Adams' preferred list of trade destinations. It makes sense. He wants to go to a winner and a contender, and that's certainly Seattle. If I am the Seahawks, how can you not have interest? I know maybe safety isn't the biggest need for the organization, but this is Jamal Adams. I mean, that is a top 5 player at his position, and he's super young. If you can add that guy, I think you have to go pursue it. Now, the biggest problem here is that the Jets don't want to trade Jamal Adams, and this might be a surprise to some. It actually takes 2 teams to pull off a trade. Now, Daniel also threw in a trade proposal. He said Bradley McDougall and a first or second. You got to give up a first. I don't see any scenario right now in which the Jets would even consider trading Jamal Adams unless you're getting an incredible player back, and Bradley's just not that at this point in his NFL career. Never was, never will be, frankly. And not give up a first-round pick. So you're going to have to do that if you are the Seattle Seahawks. Maybe you guys say no. Let me know in the comment section as to who you think accepts that trade, Seattle or the Jets. All right, Seahawks fans, we have your own YouTube channel for you guys at chatsports.com/SeahawksTV. Now, I'll let you guys in on a little secret here if you're watching this on our main channel right now. This video, a longer version of it, is already up on our Seahawks channel. You guys need to go subscribe. We're going to be putting a bunch of videos up there for you guys. There are no YouTube ads on this video or future ones right now. This video is posted there first. And, of course, if you're a Seahawks fan, well, it's Seahawks fans only. That way you guys don't have to deal with all the trolls. So if you guys have not already, join the fastest-growing Chat Sports YouTube channel by heading over to chatsports.com/SeahawksTV. I'll give you guys a chance here. The ad break's coming up. Go check out the pinned comment. I have the full YouTube link right there. Over now to Cameron K. Wants to know about a Danielle Hunter trade because the Vikings need to pay Cook and may switch to a 3-4 defense. Cameron, your football eye is good because the Seahawks should definitely have interest in Hunter because he's awesome. Here's the problem. The Vikings aren't going to trade him. You don't trade away a defensive end who is coming off back-to-back 14.5+ seasons because you got to pay the running back. That's just not what you do. Also, doesn't save them money this year. So there's 4 years left on his deal. He's not going anywhere. And although the Vikings might move to a 3-4 scheme, 3-4 outside linebacker and 4-3 defensive end, it's the same role. Hunter's job is to get to the quarterback. He does a great job. The Vikings are not going to move on from him. Over now to Bauta. Would you rather trade Jamal Adams or sign Jadeveon Clowney? There were quite a few of the, either or involving Jamal Adams. H.R. Oaktree mentioned trading Jamal Adams, or trading for Jamal Adams, or Yannick Ngakoue. It's a great question, right? I mean, we've talked a lot about Adams and a lot about Clowney around the Seahawks, so we'll focus a bit more on Yannick this time around. Very promising young edge. Wants to get paid more than Clowney. So you're kind of doing a balancing act here in terms of who you would rather add. First off, cast your votes for me down in the comments section as to who you would rather acquire if you had a chance to run the Seahawks. Clowney, type C. Adams, type A. Ngakoue, type N. Clowney is the cheapest in terms of the contract, in theory, at least it should be, and you don't have to trade for him. Adams is a better player than Yannick Ngakoue. He's cheaper too, but Yannick fills a bigger need. So it's a tough question mark there. I'm curious what you guys have to say. From Lord Oblivicator, and I'm pretty sure I botched that, so I'm just going to call him Lord O going forward. My bad, my dude. The division has gotten a lot tougher. What are your standings for the NFC West? Who is your first to fourth in order? How funny that you asked that. I've got it for you. I'm still going to put the Niners at number 1. I'm sorry, Seahawks fans or Cardinals fans or Rams fans out there. I just think that they're still the better team. I do think Seattle, and if you can go back and watch our NFC playoff projections, I think Seattle's going to be a playoff team, especially with expanded playoffs. I think the Cardinals are a team on the rise, so I'll put them number 3, but I think Seattle checks in at number 2. So who will win the NFC West? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think it's going to be the Seahawks? I know we got all Seahawks fans watching in there. Maybe you think it's the Niners. If you think it's Seattle, maybe it's because they have the best quarterback in the division by far in one Russell Wilson. And speaking of Wilson, hey, his jersey is on sale with our friends over at Fanatics. Head over to chatsports.com/RussJersey. You can save 20%, both the navy and the gray. I prefer the navy. I think it looks way better than the gray, but that's just me. Those are fully stocked, by the way. Chatsports.com/RussJersey. I'll put that link in the comments and in the description for you guys. From Quackerilla, it's a unique name, who are some 2021 prospects the Seahawks could go for in next year's draft, especially if Chris Carson's future with the team were questionable? Well, you can go so many different directions. I'll try and narrow it down a little bit more here for us. Let's focus on the running back side, especially if Rashad Penny can't stay healthy and Chris Carson ends up leaving. Early top 5 for me. Travis Etienne out of Clemson, Hubbard out of Oklahoma State, Najee Harris out of Alabama. Kenneth Gainwell put up some bonkers numbers for Memphis. He is once again the next Memphis running back that's going to go in probably the first 4 rounds in the NFL draft. And then a sleeper that I'm a big fan of is one Journey Brown at Penn State. Kind of took over that starting role at the back half of the year and put up some impressive numbers. So if you're worried about Carson long term and you don't want to pay a running back, which I'm on board with, just draft someone in round 2 or round 3, might get pretty solid production. Now, looking ahead both this year and even down the road, what do you guys think is the biggest need for the Seattle Seahawks? Is it running back? Is it offensive line? I think offensive line has been a big-time need for Seattle, although they have gotten better the past couple of seasons. Speaking of the offensive line, Big Boy 54. Do you think the right side of the offensive line will struggle due to shorter practice? Well, dude, kidding. I know you meant due to. That is a very valid concern, especially because that right side of the offensive line, I mean, it might end up being all new players. Like Damian Lewis, I think, has a good chance starting. I liked him coming out of LSU. That was one of my favorite Seahawks draft picks this year. Brandon Shell coming over from the Jets. Now, you might see some players move around. Maybe Ethan Pochek finally ends up earning a job. Cedric Ogbuehi is terrible at football. You don't want him starting. I think the overarching theme here is that, yeah, that is a concern, but that's going to be a concern for every single NFL team. Everyone is dealing with that. No NFL team returns the exact same offense or defense that they had last year. There are changes. You wanted that practice time. That is going to be a big deal in the end for Seattle. Hopefully, things all end up working out in the end. Over to Jordan XD. Is Anthony Gordon any good for Seattle as a quarterback? I was a big Anthony Gordon fan coming out. Now, I wasn't as high on him as some were, because that's always how it works. You're never the highest on a player. And look, I think Gordon should have been drafted. I think I had a 4th-round grade on him, if my memory serves correct. He put up some fantastic numbers in that offense at Washington State. With that said, there were some reasons why he went undrafted. I think consistency, handling pressure were a big factor. The numbers are inflated. But if I were Seattle, I think he could end up being your backup behind Russell Wilson. I'm not that high on Geno Smith, but the contract Seattle gave him does not guarantee him a roster spot. There's little guaranteed money, which means, you know what? If Anthony Gordon ends up impressing, maybe you just make him the backup. He's super cheap, very different style of offense coming from that air raid attack to this run-heavy offense for the Seattle Seahawks. As a reminder, don't forget to let Russ cook, because the Seahawks offense is so much better when he's just being allowed to sling the football around and throw it downfield. But if pressed into duty, hopefully not year 1, and if he impresses in camp and in the preseason, I think there is a chance that Anthony Gordon ends up making the Seattle Seahawks roster. I would consider, I think he could end up being a potential backup in the NFL. That's what I saw coming out. Maybe you can even practice squad stash him for a year. Now, as an undrafted free agent, as a reminder, you're not banking on anything. It's just kind of a lottery ticket. Maybe you get lucky. If not, oh well, it was like $1. It doesn't matter much in the end. So for Gordon, I do have some hopes. I'm curious to see how he ends up looking in whatever the preseason looks like this year. but I am higher on him than I think most people are. I want to see him push Geno Smith for that backup quarterback job. No, you're right. I think that's open.